everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm a recorder player. I feel like it's been a really long time since I did a Q&A video and you guys keep sending me your questions all the time and I've got a list like this of them. So I thought, okay, I'm going to pick 5 of the most asked questions. First of all, some exciting news. The Open Recorder Days Amsterdam Festival, which is the biggest recorder festival in Europe, that's happening this coming October. Things are selling out fast. Our competition, which had 80 places, is already sold out, but you can still put yourself on the waiting list. And applications are coming in for the Teachers Conference, which I am organising. So if you are a recorder teacher and you would like to give a short 15-minute presentation at our conference, do apply now. The link is below. Yes, so recorder questions. How to get a relaxed embouchure. I hear from a lot of you that play other wind instruments like the clarinet or the bassoon or the trumpet, instruments that require an embouchure with like muscles and strength. And the difficulty when transferring this to the recorder is that we want to aim for a completely relaxed. I play like this. So first we are gonna stretch our faces out like this. Then we are going to and then with that very relaxed feeling, we're just going to try putting the recorder in our mouth and blowing. So that's how I get my mouth relaxed. The counterpart to this is your balance of the instrument. I see a lot of people with tension around their mouth because they feel like they have to hold the instrument with their lips. This is especially if you've been playing a reed instrument and you're used to having that contact here. So a lot of this. To counteract that, you have to make sure you have a good hand position, good posture, good balance, and you're aware of the fact that you're balancing the instrument using your hands and not with your lips. Question 2, how to get a clean high F. Or for those of us playing C instruments, this would be the C. This is a tricky fingering because it's high, it requires quite precise breath pressure to make it speak clearly, it cracks a lot, when it cracks it's noticeable. This note gives a lot of us recorder players a headache. The first thing is preparation. Make sure your thumbnail is not too long. Yeah, basically you don't want it any longer than this. If your left thumbnail is too long, it's going to get in the way and it's going to really hinder your playing of the high F. Then we have thumb placement. In the registers where you half hold the thumb, a kind of rule of thumb is that the higher you go, the smaller the hole needs to be open. With the top F, you have to be exactly precise. Only open it a tiny, tiny bit. The next thing is your air speed. You don't have to blow hard, but you do have to blow fast. I've covered this in other videos, but a fast airstream is when you are blowing air that feels cold to the touch, rather than air that feels warm. That's slow air. So we want a very fast airstream, and you're going to help your fast airstream with a clear articulation. While you're getting used to this, it can help to slur up from the E. The E is easier to play, and if you just slur it up. And then, yes, I am going to tell you to do this next thing. It's very boring, but it's worthwhile. Just keep playing it. Until you can do 5 in a row or 10 in a row, but it doesn't make any sense to just keep mindlessly repeating. Always be evaluating what you're doing. Is it better if you move your thumb like this? Is it better if you use your tongue like this? Really try and figure out the exact circumstances for the best high F, and then tell us about it. clean legato between E and F. Oh, clean legato is difficult on the recorder because if you're not exactly precise, you get this. If your legato passage is not clean, it's because your fingers aren't moving at exactly the same time as each other. Remember, all of your fingers are a team, and if you're moving from one note to the next, everything needs to happen simultaneously, otherwise you're going to get blips. So first I want you to understand what's happening. Let's see. We've got the first and the second finger alternating, and that has to happen at exactly the same time. Doing this without blowing is actually really good for strengthening your fingers. Okay, we're going to play this E-F legato, and I want us to listen exactly to what is happening, because we're going to figure out which of these fingers is slow. For example, okay, there we heard a. It means this finger is going down faster than this finger is coming up. We want this one to spring away, and we want this one to be a bit more relaxed. So you can choose to identify the finger that's too fast and relax it, or the finger that's too slow and give it some action. But the key is understanding what is happening, and then you have a much better basis to practice it. How to deal with excess saliva. You know what I'm talking about. You've been playing for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and suddenly your recorder is full of saliva. It doesn't sound good anymore. It's dripping out the end and you're just like, oh. Now, it's true that some people just naturally produce more saliva than others. To be honest, I have quite a dry mouth, so if any of you produce a lot of saliva and you have tips for dealing with this during playing, please share it below. Again, the first step is preparation. Before you play, don't eat any kind of sweet or sugary or milky or cakey foods. Anything that you feel like makes you salivate a lot. If it helps, you can brush your teeth, and I always drink a bit of water before I play so that my mouth isn't dry but it's also not sticky. And then before you start playing, just swallow. Make sure there's no excess saliva in your mouth at all. And the other thing to prepare is your instrument itself. If the head joint of your instrument is warmed up, it will form much less condensation on the inside. So before I play, I warm up the head joint, specifically this area under my arm, for 5 to 10 minutes. If you're noticing your instrument is becoming stuck while you're playing, you can blow the condensation and the saliva out, for example through the windway, or the finger holes, or even through the head joint, or you can suck it back out again. The pros and cons of all of these I've gone into in a different video, which I'll link at the end. But if during your practice sessions it's getting really wet on the inside of your recorder, you can also just keep taking it apart, swabbing it out, giving it a bit of a dry out, and putting it back together and carrying on. And the last question of today: how do you avoid feeling silly when playing contemporary music? That is such a good question. When you're first performing contemporary music that may have strange sounds or techniques, you can definitely feel like, oh my god, why am I doing this? Why are all these people looking at me? Now, you can approach this musically and you can approach it theatrically. The first thing to remember is every sound is there for a reason. So if the composer has written some strange technique, try and think, why did they want this specific sound? And really try and get into the beauty of that sound. I remember playing the piece called Kage by Roderick de Man, and in that you have to do this. It felt so weird, but then I tried to get into those sounds, the and the really enjoying their purely auditive properties, purely how it sounds. And if you approach it kind of in that way, maybe that helps because it removes you personally from it. It just enables you to enjoy it for its musical properties. So sometimes I found that quite comforting. On the other hand, you can approach it theatrically. In a lot of ways, it's like being an actor. You are embodying a character or a situation or a scene on stage. And yeah, it's very easy to feel self-conscious, but if you kind of put yourself into those character shoes, yeah, I'm not actually a trained actor, so I don't know if I'm explaining this right. Yeah, I try and allow myself to get into a character of something. It's not me, Sarah Jeffery, on stage making weird sounds. It's the character of this piece. So I'm really performing a role. I try not to think at all about what my audience is thinking of me at that point. And then the simple fact is, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Enjoy it. That's the main thing. So I find this double approach of kind of technically seeing those sounds for what they are and working out how that fits into my character can really help. Well, Team Recorder, that was 5 questions. Do keep sending me your questions and let me know what kind of videos you keep wanting to be seeing. Was that a grammatically correct sentence? On that same note, we are growing ever closer to 10,000 subscribers, so stay tuned. When that happens, I have something very special planned for you. As always, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face down here, and up here I'm going to give a link to the video where I talk about dealing with saliva and condensation during playing. It's a really attractive topic, I know. Yeah, thanks for watching everybody and have a really good day. Bye!